All right, it's a beautiful breezy 70 degrees right now in Northern California, where it's normally about 95 at this time of year. So we've got our coop in process. Right next to me, a pomegranate that needs to be trimmed a little bit again. Artichokes, dwarf fruit trees, and a whole lot of weeds. Oh, there's some tomatoes and zucchini. Unfortunately, I was very, very sick last year, and I'm starting to get better, but I also get sunburnt in about 10 minutes from my medication. So being out here is a little bit difficult, and I haven't got all the weeds under control, but we're working on it. This playhouse is currently being used for compost, but that is what we kept the chickens in before, and it was great for keeping bantams. And we had our large fowl in a different cage. This is the new home for the birds. If we get back up here, it's quite large. I can step into it, and I'm 5'7" and have a good 6 inches of headroom. My husband has to duck, he's 6'2". But you can see that there's the shelf where we're going to put the nesting boxes, and this half will be perch. The back will be closed in with some heavy duty fencing, about 1x1 or 1x2, and it will be tarped over the back and for a little bit of the perch that's laying along the side. The rest is going to get some shade cloth so that they can get sun, but they also don't overheat as easily in the hot California weather. It can easily get up to 115 here, and that's very, very difficult to keep chickens cool in weather over 110 degrees. It's very difficult. We are going to put sprinklers on the front here, misters, and when it does get hot, we'll be freezing a lot of milk jugs full of water, any kind of bottles we can find, bunt pans filled with treats and ice for them to peck at, ice water in their waterers. We got, look, down here's the door. So we've got a nice wide door that's, aside from being a little short, standard sized. We'll go over to meet the chicks. We've got our little mutt, McGraw. Hey, Graw. I think he likes the chicken feed more than the chickens, but he is still pretty interested in them, and we are working with refreshing his recall because he was trained as a service dog for me and unfortunately became too anxious. So we ended up retiring him, and he's a family pet. But we're working on recall and the command, leave it. Graw, leave it. Good boy. Okay. So we've got a couple little birds in the... Go on, girl. Go on. In this bucket of dirt, taking a little dust bath and siesta. We've got another one over there in the corner, sitting in the sun. See, he's looking for their food. Graw, leave it. Graw, go on. And we've got some purple cabbage hanging, and the chickens have been working on that yesterday and today. And for some reason, our little blonde chicken is laying on their food. They are learning to forage, and they're learning to try different foods other than just chick starter. So we've got some mini suet cakes, some fermented food, some seeds, a little bit of fish, and a little bit of pulled pork without seasoning. And it looks pretty gross right now, but it did look good a few minutes ago before the chickens got to it. So they've got their crops full, and they're about ready to take a nap when I leave them alone after I clean their waterers out again. And they're just happy to lay in the sun and acclimate to the weather. And right now they're staying outside all day except for when it reaches about dusk, and they come inside because it's been cool at night and they are not completely feathered. Once we leave it. Once we get their big cage finished, which should be this weekend, I'm going to leave them out for the night in the coop, but with a reptile heater just in case. I need to buy well, it's not a timer, but a switch that will actually turn on and off at certain temperatures to keep them warm. And pretty soon they will not need them because this, like I said, is very unseasonable weather. It was 64 at noon today, and the high is 75, but I don't think we're going to reach it. The low tonight is 51, and that's a little chilly for these guys. When we reached about 65 last night, they were all cuddled together when the shade had come over, and we're very glad to get inside.